I know it seems like I eat a lot of chicken on here, but honestly in real life that's just something I do. But there's so many different ways that you can twist it and make it into its own thing. Chicken doesn't have to taste the exact same way every time you make it, at least change one teeny tiny thing. But in order to do that, you have to be able to use what you have in your cabinet. So today you're gonna watch me figure out what we're having for dinner in real time. Now for the most part, I always have some chicken thighs or legs in the freezer because those are my favorite parts of the chicken. But no matter what cut it is, if you want it crispy, you kind of just want to make sure you pat it dry. I'm gonna go ahead and season this. There's not going to be a recipe for this one because I want you to get the general idea of how to go about kind of experimenting and trying to do things on your own. Plus, I didn't have a recipe. If you're new here, I'm Amari and I really like cooking and showing other people, but right now I can't decide on what pan size I want to use for those chicken thighs. And I realized only about half of my views come from people who are actually subscribed for me, so if you're not subscribed, I want you to know that I know you're a monitoring spirit and that I'm watching you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment to let me know how I'm doing. When I seasoned this chicken, I didn't know if it was going in the oven or not, but I decided just to cook it on the stovetop. We're gonna get some really nice crispy skin and make a glaze with what we have in the fridge. Now I'm gonna make sure I start heating up my oil while I double check and make sure I have garlic and some onion. I've had a bulb of garlic and like one single red onion in the cabinet for a while now. Honestly, the key to cooking so much and making all these videos is making sure that I have a well-stocked pantry. For the most part, I always have a huge bag of white rice of some kind, an onion or a shallot, and at least one full bulb of garlic. I'm not going to recommend anyone else do this, but I learned from my aunt that sometimes you can just hover your hand over the oil for 5 seconds, and if you feel like you have to pull your hand away, it's hot enough to cook the chicken. So basically, if your hand feels hot, it's time to go ahead and cook that chicken. Now in order to get crispy skin on any cut of chicken, you really just want to make sure you lay it and don't bother it for like 5 minutes or so and just let the skin get really nice and crispy. Now while I'm waiting for that chicken to get crisp, I'm just going to go ahead and cut up my onion and garlic. I go through onions pretty quick, so I'm sure I'll use that other half at some point soon. But I don't normally get the red, I normally just have the yellow or white. No, I actually have no exact memory of when I bought either of these sauces, but I'm going to use them to make a glaze for that chicken. Honestly, making a glaze for chicken or meat in general isn't too intimidating. It's more so about did you evaporate to the right stickiness or making sure that you're using something that has like a sticky quality to it, like honey or like brown sugar if you're going to do pork. Or you can do regular sugar on pork. I just normally go with brown sugar. Alright, our sauce is ready, our onion and garlic are ready, so it's time to really get to work and just finish cooking this chicken. But first we gotta double check and see if it's as brown as I want it. I think the heat on this stove may be uneven because 2 pieces were way more brown than that one. So after we flip over our chicken and make sure we're done cooking it, we're gonna make sure we keep all of the liquid that's in the pan because there's a lot of flavor in there, and we're just gonna set the chicken off to the side for right now. And now it's time for the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and toss in our onions and start cooking them down. Normally I only put the garlic in for the last 10 seconds, so I don't know why I did it this time, but normally when you cook fresh garlic for longer than 10 seconds, it gets kind of bitter. Now as soon as I thought the garlic was fragrant, I went ahead and added in some brown sugar and started building the base for that glaze. This is probably the main thing I use brown sugar for, literally just making glaze. I'm gonna taste test this sauce because I couldn't actually remember if I liked it or not. I hadn't had it in a while. But general rule of thumb is you want to make sure you put in equal parts of everything if you're going to try to make a glaze. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and about 1 tablespoon of the Trader Joe's sauce too. And now I'm going to add in a little bit of butter just so I can make sure it stays smooth, nice and glossy. And never forget the taste test. And now we're going to go ahead and just put our chicken right back in and spoon over that glaze because we want everything to be absolutely fully covered. I feel really satisfied with everything up to this point. I feel like everything turned out as good as I wanted. You just gotta make sure you have the faith. Now off camera, I do have a pot of white rice going. And as soon as this chicken is done cooking, it's going right onto the rice plate. And just for some additional crunch and fresh flavor, I'm gonna use this leftover scallion from the picnic video. And now we're good to go. I didn't even realize it while I was filming, but this meal looks really close to that chicken I made in one of my very first YouTube videos ever. Okay, now it's finally time to nibble. Let's see, I'm just gonna eat some of the rice with the spring onion first. Look guys, I wish I had a little bit more rice, but this is literally all the rice that I had left. All right, let's see. Rice is bringing in pretty good. Tastes like rice. Okay, now let's get to the chicken, the skin. There we go. I just got a little bit of everything in this one. That's really good. I didn't even process how much chicken I eat until I went back and scrolled through all of my past videos. But this is just that midway point with the chicken videos. We're gonna make way more because I still have to show you how to make chicken stock and meat glaze. But the issue is that I deleted 6 minutes of that video. So I have the video of me making the glaze, but not the stock. So when I make stock next, I'm gonna release part 2 of the chicken video from last week where I showed you how to do this. And I'll see you guys next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.